early morning coffee, of course. Just going to chill into my lounge here while, of course, waiting, waiting for another private one to come in. As you can notice, there we are. And of course, got a beautiful little sitting down here, and let us see if we can have a conversation. All right. Definitely good morning. Good morning. Definitely one more time and location here. One more time and location, definitely. Getting ready again to having my early morning coffee, of course. I'm not promoting the brand today, so I didn't show it. Not promoting the brand at all, so I didn't show it. But trust that you're doing well. My got my tag here waiting. Okay, so indeed, trust that wherever you are, you're doing well. I always like to say that. I trust that you're doing well. You know, I love to say it. I trust that you're doing well. Hope that you're doing well. Pray that you're doing well. Indeed, I am always hoping that each and every individual, you know, we're people. You know, if people only get to the place where they care about one another, love one another, you know, that would be so nice. You know, so much to always care about, so much to always appreciate, so much to always give thanks for. I guess that's one of my thing. Oh, this tag here is hanging. Yeah, so much that I always love to give thanks for. By the way, I'm picking up a very, well, you know, picking up a particular party's early morning, again, early morning, picking up an early morning pickup. So I'm here, definitely. I am definitely here. You know, you can see my surroundings. So I'm here. But my party is still, you know, wherever they are in the world. so, so, so I'm here. So I was told that their plane, this is private jet, of course, their plane is just taxiing down the runway. So that's funny. So in the meantime, I'm having my early morning tea or coffee. In the meantime, I'm having my early morning coffee. But wherever you are, you know, I hope that you are well. Sorry, I was just looking up there at the monitor, my morning news, and so on. But I always say that, as people, we should give thanks and give thanks a lot. You know, give thanks a lot. You know, I can tell you that there's really nobody is really truly pilots coming in. I hope it's not the pilot that's going to be supposed to be in another country. I hope he's not the one who need to go fly over there. Just kidding, that's a joke. But the point I'm saying to you, if we could only learn to love one another, appreciate one another. A friend of mine who's a lawyer, he sent me a message. He said, Mr. Trench, I know you have a very, I don't think he went into all that detail, but he was telling me, and he follows me a lot, and he said to me, tell the people that, you know, they need Well, he was speaking of the Caribbean people, but tell them, that they need to love one another, appreciate one another, which is important because, it is so something. I got to tell you that, did you know that a lot of communities are actually doing well? And the reason a lot of communities are doing well is because of their communication, their cooperation, the cooperative intention. They cooperate, they communicate, they they are not, they love one another. And there's an old saying, I do not know where it came from, but the family that play together stay together. Now, a family may be mother, father, son, daughter, go all the way down. But as a community, sorry, it's pretty busy here also, okay? So, well, no, it's not busy. It's pretty calm, okay? But as a community, it helps for us to work together, not to be selfish, not to be, every community that I know are somewhat competitive. Okay, every community that I know, they are competitive. But some of the most successful ones are those who work together, those who they're not fighting each other. And it is a major problem when we, as a community, and you could actually say to me, you could actually say I'm talking to our community. We literally fight one another. Well, if we are fighting one another, the others doesn't have to worry fighting us because we already fighting one another. We already destroying one another. Which sometimes these things could be stage. When I say stage meaning the intention. You know what I mean? Commercial, any commercial that aired. Let's go back to the early days of cartoons before YouTube's. Now, if a young person listen to that, they will probably say, "Was there is a time before YouTube?" But let's go back to the cartoon, Saturday morning cartoons, the Bugs Bunny and all of those, Donald Duck and all of those things. Did you know that most companies would have actually, and including McDonald's or the toy companies, would actually build within in the show, or not in the show, but commercials, that children would want their parents to buy them toys or go to McDonald's or wherever, because it's programmed their mind for McDonald's. It's in their mind to buy that new toys or that new toy. Okay, so the mind of people sometimes are programmed, and it is a very large negative if we are programmed to hate one another. It is terrible if we are programmed to hate our community. Now, you may say, yes, if someone is programmed us to hate our community, one, they're enjoying that programming. Two, you're falling for that. You're allowing them to accomplish their goal, while in the meantime they are progressing. They are moving ahead to their agenda. One of the things that I always say, most of the time I use a lot of business terms, and what I always say in the corporate world or in the business world or in the sectors of business, I always, because over the years, prior to me doing what I'm doing now, I've been into a lot of boardrooms, And I've been in a lot of boardrooms, and I've been in a lot of areas of training and those things. And one of the things that I always say, when someone say, wow, there's a chicken going through the front door. Well, I always use that terms. When someone say, there's a chicken going through the front door, I usually say, ignore the front door. The front door is only but a distraction. Run to the back door, because there's a cow going through the back door. Meaning, there's a chicken only maybe, what, $10? Let's just say, a chicken, what, $10? But the main subject that is more expensive is going through the back door, which is, let's say a cow is $1,000, okay? But a chicken is $10. So somebody get us distracted and telling us about a cow, about a chicken going through the front door. Everybody is concentrating on the front door, while in the back door, a cow for $1,000. So let's not get distracted, okay, with people programming our mind to not understanding that as a community, it is dangerous for us to hate one another or dislike one another, okay? Now, when I speak, I like to speak. I'm a very direct person. I'm a very upfront person. Now, I appreciate every areas of community, but I don't see a lot of other communities fighting themselves. I gotta say, the Caribbean communities or the African American communities, we're very powerful, successful minded people. We are very creative. We are very successful minded. We're very creative. We're very productive. Okay? But I'm saying to you, and again, I hope you understand, I stand for everybody. But I'm based on what my lawyer friend asked me to tell the people. If you fight against yourself, fight against your community will always be going down while others are progressing. One very successful area where this happened was, for instance, in the Bible, where, as you know, this was when the army came against Jehoshaphat, the three different army. And what God allowed to happen is that he told Jehoshaphat he do not have to fight in the battle, because he will confuse their mind that these three armies will go and fight against themselves and destroy themselves. So you understand, and Jehoshaphat did not have to fight. So in our mind, in my conversation to you, if you are fighting each other, then and by the way, what was Jehoshaphat doing? Absolutely nothing. Jehoshaphat were, and his army, the little army, was just enjoying themselves, singing and praising the Lord and shouting. So if you and me fight each other, community, if you and me are fighting each other, then what happened is that we allow the other communities to, all they have to do is just to continue being successful, continue while we are defeating each other. So I warn today that we must be, like, there's nothing that any communities anywhere have done. There's nothing that any community, that's airplane engine, there's nothing that any other community have ever done that I'm going to use the word the African American have not done. There's nothing that any other nation have accomplished that the African American has not accomplished. That also meant Caribbean. So let me just make sure we get this right. Okay? Now, that being said, there is a lot of Chinese who live in Jamaica. They don't speak Chinese, they speak Jamaican, born in Jamaica. There's a lot of white men who live in Jamaica. They don't speak white man, they speak Jamaican because they were born in Jamaica. They would be considered as Jamaican. So let's make sure we understand we're not talking about color. We're talking about the mind of individual that Caribbean descent. Because at the same time, I hope you catch where I'm coming from. This is very, very important that we refrain from fighting one another, refrain from pulling each other down, refrain. When we see each other as a black man or a black woman, we should be willing to greet each other, to give each other a word of advice, a good encouragement, a good counseling, a good idea, instead of the minute we see them, okay, let me say this, okay, let me stop. I'm going to say this to the nation. Not all black people are drugs people. As a matter of fact, black people are not drugs people. Drugs are provided to the black man. I'm being very, very upfront. There's no black man. Black men are not gun people. Okay? Because there's no black man who own a gun manufacturing facility. So the problem is sometimes is that things are placed in the black youth hands, and or maybe they're being labeled, and then later on, who to be blamed? It's them. I kind of want to say the other communities their problem would cover up very fast. Don't think that the other communities don't get into a lot of haywire. Just that there's an ambitiousness to cover up their problem, to not let it be seen, to not let it be heard about. So it actually seems to me sometimes that we became, I'm talking about the African American, we became the guinea pig. We became the one who caught holding the bag, if you understand me. Okay? So with that being said, oh God, if you could only understand from where I'm coming from today, that we many times we became guinea pigs. Okay, we became the people who are, and the reason, look, I got two black youths, two young black men growing up, two boys, and boy, I consistently put in their mind, guys, here is how it is. Here is what it is. Here is the facts. Here is the this. Here is the that. Now, that being said, the other communities educate their children. They speak to them. They talk to them. Fathers in our community, don't be missing in action. Fathers in our community, do not be missing in action. Mothers, do not push the father out the door. Government money, oh my God, government money cannot raise your child. Government money cannot raise your child. You need mama and you need papa. And if the fathers are pushed out the door, then what eventually happens, it becomes what you call a one-sided home, a broken home, and all of a sudden now, the child is now being raised by a one-sided situation, and it's not balanced. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen. You watch a lot of NBA players and you'll hear how many times they said, I raised by my mother or raised by my father. But the point I'm trying to say to you, just because there's a lot of successful story doesn't mean that we should work towards that. That doesn't mean. So, look, I'm really encouraging somebody. Let's stay focused. Let's help our community to be better. Okay? All right, we'll talk again. Errol talking to you, and a lot of calls coming in. We'll talk later. It's like I'm live to hear, but I'm not. See you.